The Wellcome Book Prize is an annual British literary award. This is a book prize that celebrates the topics of medicine, health and illness. There are 6 titles that have been announced for the 2018 shortlist for the Wellcome Book Prize. Stay With Me, The Butchering Art, With the End in Mind, Mayhem, a memoir, The Vaccine Race, and finally, To Be a Machine. I have kindly been asked to take part in a book tour that they are doing. I am kicking things off with the first day of the book tour alongside another great book reviewer called Harry's Book Club. I will leave all links down below in the description so you can check them out. There will also be more vloggers and bloggers taking part in this book tour the following days of this week. Again, I will leave all their links down in the description as well as the books that we will be talking about, so you can go and check those out. But today I'm going to be talking about the book To Be a Machine by Mark O'Connell. This is a non-fiction book published by Granta and it is roughly 240 pages. So this book is primarily about transhumanism. I hadn't ever really heard of the term transhumanism before, but it's really sort of central to this book. According to the book, transhumanism is a movement whose aim is to use technology to fundamentally change the human condition, to improve our bodies and minds to the point where we become something other and better than the animals we are. The author, Mark O'Connell, is not a supporter of transhumanism. You know, he has his own beliefs about the subject, but he gives sort of both sides of the argument. He gives their sides and he gives the other side. So for example, in that definition that I have just read out, he mentions the fact that this could be a good thing, that we could upload ourselves into a computer and live forever as a machine, in the words of Ross Geller. But he also sees the opposite interpretation of transhumanism. The fact that if we were to do something like this, it would be complete enslavement to technology. He's very sort of diplomatic about the whole thing. He doesn't really give a definite point of view. It's very clear that he doesn't subscribe to this particular movement, but at the same time, when he meets the people in this book that express this point of view, he never sort of looks down on them or makes a particular joke out of the situation that they are presenting themselves with, which I really liked. He meets a particular guy who is, for example, a virgin who is saving himself for sex bots because real women cheat, they play around, and you can also get STDs from real women. So yeah, that's an example of one of the characters in this book. But yeah, he meets all sorts of different people around the world who do lots of different things. It looks into robots and cyborgs as well as the nature of technology, how it is slowly sort of taking over the world. We used to think of technology in terms of the Terminator and something that could easily, you know, overthrow the human race and take over if it gets too intelligent. What he mentions in the book is that it is slowly sort of becoming part of our everyday lives and we're not really noticing it. Obviously things like phones and social media is the big one, but also things like in a supermarket you automatically might go to a self-checkout and speak to an electronic voice rather than speak and be served by an actual person, and that's just something that's become normality in the eyes of today's society. Some of the people that he meets are interested in cryonics and sort of the freezing of our bodies and that sort of technology, and he always gives it a lot of thought and poses a lots of questions to the reader, so that in turn you as the reader start thinking about this question, and then you start thinking, could I live forever? Would this be something that I want? Would I want to live forever as a machine? And it poses really interesting questions about just humanity and life in general. He writes about a machine or a particular robot, and he says, imagine you get in a room with this thing and you tell it to eliminate cancer once and for all. The computer will go about its work and will quickly conclude that the most effective way to do so is to obliterate all species in which the uncontrolled division of abnormal cells might potentially occur. Before you have the chance to realise your error, you've wiped out every sentient life form on Earth except for the artificial intelligence itself, which will have no reason not to believe it has successfully completed the task. And again, this sounds like sci-fi, but it's something that is very prominent when speaking to people who deal with this sort of thing and are interested in this sort of thing. As you can see, I've sort of notebooked all my favourite parts and with the really interesting parts that I found, and I won't go into all of it because I think it's something that you can really read and enjoy yourself and meet all these different characters and all their different beliefs in this book, and also like project your own feelings and thoughts on this topic. I myself am not a transhumanist. I don't think I ever will be. I believe that humans are supposed to live in their own bodies and die in their own bodies. It's something that we all have in common. I think the fact that we are on this planet for a brief time is what makes life beautiful, terrifying, strange, wonderful, all those things. What I liked about this book is it's very conversational, so it's very easy to read. It might sound like it's a lot of sort of heavy issues, but the writer is very sort of comedic with it, and he sort of plays it very light-hearted. He also ends it on a really ambiguous note, so he sort of gives his final opinions, but he also says, I can't see the future, I don't know what's going to happen. Who knows, in 10 years from now we could all be machines, you know, or Terminators. Who knows what could happen. He also looks into transhumanism and compares it with his own experiences. The book is, you know, has a sense of fatherhood to it. He describes very early on in the book that the recent birth of his son made him sort of rethink his priorities. He actually writes the words, which I think are really quite beautiful in a way. If I had known how much I was going to love him, I'm not sure I would have had him. And I think that's really interesting, the fact that this sort of animalistic quality kicked in, the need to protect this little human being, you know, is so much more powerful than the need to protect yourself. Overall, I thought this book was incredibly interesting. It's only so short, so you can get through it so quickly. It's a lot more of a fun read than I thought it was going to be. It's not a comedic book by any sense of the word, but it does take this topic and makes light of it. It's really interesting, and again, like I said before, it makes you question your own beliefs, your own thoughts, and it makes you ask questions and want to know more about this topic and transhumanism. And I just think it's a really well written book and I enjoyed it a lot. If you wanted to know more about it, I will leave down links in the description so you can go and check it out for yourself. As I said before, all this week different vloggers and bloggers will be talking about the different books for the Wellcome Book Prize shortlist, so definitely be on the lookout for those. Follow the Twitter links as well as Instagram posts. I'm really excited to see who wins the book prize. Do leave me your thoughts down in the comments because I'd be really interested to know your thoughts on transhumanism. As ever guys, thank you so much for watching. If you have enjoyed the video, do give it a thumbs up and subscribe to see more from me. I will hopefully have another few book videos coming at you in the next couple of weeks. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful week and I will see you in the next video. Bye!